Good evening, I'm Alec Nolan. We start our coverage tonight with the latest update on a wildfire on the Warm Springs Indian Reservation southeast of Mount Hood. The S503 fire was reported around 6 p.m. on the north end of the reservation on Friday. It's now about 2 miles east of Highway 26. According to officials, it has grown to 6,700 acres. Crews totaling 250 to 300 people worked throughout the night and today as the fire moved toward the southeast. Large and single-engine air tankers are helping, and bulldozer crews are building lines on a ridge at the north end of the fire to protect the town of Pine Grove. The Wasco County Sheriff's Office says all residences west of Kelly Springs Road have been lowered from level 3 to level 2 get set evacuation notices. The cause of the fire is still undetermined. Meanwhile, a blaze in southern Klamath County was reported around 1:30 p.m. yesterday afternoon. The cutoff fire has burned private and BLM land about 6 miles north of Bonanza. It's estimated tonight at 1,500 acres with 10% containment. Around 125 structures are threatened by the fire, according to the Fremont-Wainema National Forest. Bly Mountain Cutoff Road, Jaguar Lane, and Keno Springs Road are closed except for emergency vehicles and residents leaving the area. The cause of that fire also is still under investigation. And here in Central Oregon, federal investigators are helping look into a pair of suspicious fires on federal lands just east of Lapine early this morning. The fires destroyed a pair of unoccupied RVs at two campsites about a quarter-mile apart. The BLM land east of Drafter Road and north of Roslyn Road has several dispersed campsites and abandoned vehicles. Despite challenging access, Lapine fire crews stopped the fires that were spreading into the wildland and toward Lapine. Smoky skies gave way to beautiful blue sunshine and blistering hot temperatures today. Jack Hirsch says the heat is here to stay, but there may be showers on the way. He joins us now with a first look at your local alert weather forecast. Jack? Authorities say an Oregon man sought in the killings of his father and two other people forced a woman to drive him more than 2,000 miles in her car to Wisconsin, where he turned himself in. Police say that Owen Evan Nicholson approached Laura Johnson after she returned to her parking spot during a lunch break on Friday in Springfield, Oregon, and forced her to drive him north. Authorities were notified this morning that Nicholson had turned himself in to police in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Police say Johnson was not harmed. The Lapine Senior Center held its 12th annual Rhubarb Festival this weekend. Over 1,000 rhubarb granny pies were made for this festival by volunteers. But pie was not the only rhubarb item available. Cinnamon roll, shortcake, and even pulled pork sandwiches were a few other items that had rhubarb. Jamie Donahue, director of the Lapine Senior Center, said she was happy about the turnout for the event.
It was really good to hear kids laughing, smiling, parents, everybody gathering, and just being thankful. It was pretty cool.
The festival had been canceled last year due to the pandemic. Donahue estimated more than 6,000 visitors had attended the festival by this afternoon. Donahue added that she hopes to have the Lapine Senior Center fully reopen by next month. And District 5 began its Little League All-Stars tournament this weekend in Redmond. Over 20 teams from all over Central Oregon are participating in the contests. Teams from the Dalles, Hood River, Lapine, Bend, Sisters, Crook County, Madras, Warm Springs are among those competing in the tournament. Tyson Lick, vice president of the Redmond Little League, says they worked hard to ensure the games would happen so the kids could have a sense of normalcy again.
We were going to do anything we could to make sure that we can do this safely and get the kids back out and having fun and doing what they love. And we made it.
The All-Star Tournament began Friday evening and is expected to run until Thursday at both the Umatilla Sports Complex and Bowlby Park in Redmond. Games will begin around 9 in the morning and run until 6 p.m. Lick says the champions of the district tourney will move on to compete in the state tournament. Meanwhile, Coast Guard crews from McKinleyville, California and North Bend rescued 6 people from their sailboat yesterday afternoon. Humboldt Bay watchstanders received a distress call around 4 p.m. from the boat Barvalento. The crew said the boat was disabled, taking on water, and had a person aboard with a head and arm injury. With the boat expected to lose power, Sector Humboldt Bay watchstanders requested additional air support from a Coast Guard Air Station North Bend Dolphin helicopter crew. The Sector Humboldt Bay Dolphin crew then returned to the scene and hoisted 3 people from the boat. The Air Station North Bend Dolphin crew later arrived on scene and rescued the 2 remaining people. 1 person is dead and several others injured following a shooting at Lake Merritt in Oakland, California last night. The shooting happened just before 6:30 p.m. along Lakeshore Avenue. Officials say 7 people were shot. One victim, a 22-year-old from San Francisco, died from his injuries. The other victims are reported to be in stable condition.
Our investigators believe that this is not directly connected to Juneteenth, so we want to really clarify that with our community. Every weekend we have large crowds that come down to Lake Merritt and they enjoy the lake for many different reasons, for many different celebrations.
Police say they arrested 2 men that were spotted running from the scene with firearms. They are investigating if the suspects are connected to the shooting. And in Texas, police in Houston are investigating a home invasion involving one of their own. A deputy constable and his family were asleep inside their apartment building this morning when officers say someone broke in, shooting his wife and 4-year-old stepdaughter. Police say they found a blood trail, so the deputy may have shot the suspect after they exchanged gunfire. The 4-year-old had to undergo surgery and her mother has a gunshot wound in her leg. Police say the suspect was armed with an assault rifle and a shotgun. So far, no arrests have been made. Now we head to Chicago, where police say there was a rash of gun violence in the Windy City this weekend, with at least 49 people shot and 5 killed. In one of the shootings, a 24-year-old man was killed and a 25-year-old woman was critically injured in an attack in Humboldt Park. The couple was attacked by 2 or 3 assailants who took out handguns and began shooting at them. The man suffered a gunshot to the head and died later at the hospital. The woman was shot in the neck and is listed in critical condition at Cook County Stroger Hospital. Because of the severity of their injuries, the victims could not provide details of what happened to investigators. Coming up, President Joe Biden returns home from his first trip overseas, but he's still facing criticism and challenges abroad as many are demanding an immediate stop to Russian cyber attacks. We have details after the break. Back home after his first trip overseas, President Joe Biden is still facing challenges both here and abroad, including stopping cyber attacks from Russian criminals. But a new president elected in Iran may signal renewed hope for another nuclear deal after former President Trump canned the previous agreement. Jennifer Johnson has more. Well, you probably knew this, Jack, but believe it or not, today marks the first day of summer. The longest day of the year in the Northern Hemisphere marks the official beginning of summer on the calendar. Throughout history, the summer solstice, there's a nice picture there, is linked to a season of both fertility in the plant and human variety. Some are saying that'd be more true than usual this summer after a year of lockdowns due to the pandemic. There's a nice dog there on the beach. And while relationships should be heating up, so will the temperatures. Applying sunscreen there, which I should have done yesterday. Meteorologists say the real heat is still to come because there's usually a 1-month lag between the solstice and peak summer heat. That's why July is almost always the hottest month of the year in most places. Well, I guess that makes sense.
Well, not for us, it's August.
Is it really?
It is August,
Okay, that makes sense. I would say here the intensity of the sun is very aggressive.
Yeah, we're so high. Apparently you need to put sunscreen on your feet, as you found out.
Yeah, I messed that up. We'll talk about it later. All right, we'll see you on NBC at 11.